Hi, everybody. Mr. E here one more time, coming to you with a little presentation on students' identity in our spaces. So here at Champlin Park, you've seen this on the walls, on the doors, on our head principals, email tag, and many of the teachers as well. We must disrupt systematic inequities and racism. Change begins with humility and respect. Love is love. No human is illegal. Women's rights are human rights. The lives of Black, Indigenous, and people of color matter. Diversity is beautiful, and you are important. So why are you here as teachers? Well, to quote a couple of studies, so the Journal for Advancement in Educational Research, they went ahead and published in 2018. I'm talking about our white students will soon overtake. We'll soon be the minority in our schools, and we need to prepare for this shift. And as you've seen over the last 5 years here at Champlin Park, we have seen this shift. Teachers, in another article by Michael Fullen, he talks about how teachers' leadership fail to conceptualize, and he states that teachers are with the students every day, and so we should be leaders in advocating for student representation in our classrooms and our curriculum. This is not something our administrators can force us to do. This is something that we need to leave in the movement. And that's what I'm attempting to do here with us today. 6 ways to build more equitable learning. Teachers need to help teachers identify their own biases and support school staff becoming more self-aware of their curriculum and classroom environment. And then Waterford.org posts 5 tips for creating an inclusive classroom. And we all know that inclusivity is very important to make sure all students feel like they belong. USC went ahead and published in 2020 7 ways to promote equity in the classroom. And in the article, they talk about the importance of connecting space with students for a better learning environment. And that's kind of what we're going to focus on here today. And finally, Baylor University on multicultural education stresses the importance of teachers finding and acknowledging their biases. And so our first thing we'll talk about is, what is identity? So identity looks different for many people, and this kind of is this wheel will kind of show us a little bit. If we just look at race, we can look at geographic location, talking styles, parental status. We can look at education, smoking, non-smoking, work background, economic status, family work life, marital status, job level, native born, non-native, religious beliefs. And these are kind of on the outside. And on the inside, we can see sexual orientation, age, physical abilities, ethnicity, gender, and race. And so these are the things we kind of want to show in our classroom, kind of be mirrors for our students to see themselves in these spaces, and also to see their classmates in these spaces. So why is identity important? Well, before Brown versus the Board of Education, we had several teachers of color in the United States that were teaching students of color. And so as you can see, like in this picture here, from Mary McLeod Brother with a line of girls from the school, 1911, we see that all of these girls have their teacher to look up to as representation. As we know, here in Minnesota, about 95% of our teachers are white, and we know that we are shifting towards a white minority in the classroom. So we need to look. If we aren't having teachers of color for students to look up to, we need to be and to see themselves, and we need to be able to have representation in other ways. In her book, Cultivating Genius, Goldie Muhammad goes ahead and states, students must authentically see themselves in the learning. She goes on, who we are is connected to historical, institutional, political, and socio-cultural factors. And it is our job as educators, not just to teach, but also to teach students to know, validate, and celebrate who they are. This is a challenge because our identities and a strong sense of self are a form of protection and refuge for our children. If they don't know themselves, others will tell them who they are in a way that may not be positive or accurate. And teachers should seek to help youth understand their identities because it helps them to see their own positionality and stances in a world and across socio-political issues. As students grow older, they experience angst, trying to understand the world and their own personal beliefs and values. Young people are figuring out how to exist in a world apart from their parents. Classroom instruction should provide avenues to explore the world and self. And we can do this through creating this environment on our walls by showing people from all representation of our students on these walls. And so we can see and celebrate our identities as a whole. So how can we help? Well, with the help of some other folks, I devised this cultural representation snapshot, and then I, showed some members of administration, our student advocates, Indian ed coordinators, a couple teachers of color gave me input on this, and our literacy coaches and achievement coaches. And so what I'd like to do is for us each to go to a different wing of the building and look at like 2 or 3 classrooms and see what you find. Use this as kind of like a checklist, and we're not grading people. It's more for you to look for these things and see if you see them, and hopefully you can incorporate that into your classroom to help your students feel safe in your environments and see themselves represented in the curriculum. So we have images of dark-skinned people, images of light-skinned people, images of male gender, female gender, LGBTQ, Native American, and people with disabilities. Religious representation, we know that there's more religions than this in our school. However, we know that we have a lot of our students are Christian. Second largest group is Shaman. Third largest group is Islam. And then we have Judaism. So do we have pictures representing these in our school? And the calendar is a Christian calendar. So if you have a calendar on your wall, you've already got that checkbox for Christianity. Also, our language representation. Sometimes we have words and phrases and quotes on the walls, but do we have these in languages other than English? We have many language learners, ML learners at our school, and do they see words that they understand or that might be unique to them on their wall? So, an example, I have a little quote that I had a student pick out, and that's in Arabic. And so only our students that speak Arabic would be able to, or that can read Arabic, would be able to see that and understand that. And I get compliments on that from students, from our students that do speak Arabic and write it and read it. Student representation. Do we have our students' work and artwork in the classroom? Very important for students to be able to see their own work on the walls. And then careers. Many people have like their college banners, but do we have trade school banners? Do we have two-year college banners? Do we have certificate degrees? And just spread that out a little bit. What I'd like you to do is then after you finish with that, you can come back and we'll mix up our groups together, and we'll have a little silent written discussion on what our findings are. And I'll go ahead and post those down in the staff lounge. If you need additional resources, at the bottom of the worksheet, and I'll share it all with everybody, I have all of these resources. Just click on one here, this one for Adam Johnson. Now you've seen his artwork through the school, local artists here. And like in my classroom, I have this Amanda Gorman right here. You notice like these are like $1.80 for these postcards. The posters are a little bit more. They're $9, so I understand that they are not free. So Deb Holland, I have her on my wall as well too, currently. And I also have this John Lewis on my wall. There's Michelle Obama there. You can support a local artist and put these unique pictures up as well of people from all different ethnicities and cultures. So at Champlin Park, we claim to be equity focused, relationship driven, student centered, inquiry based, open-minded. And hopefully we can achieve these goals as a school, not only through our curriculum and through our teaching, but also through this environments that we present. Thank you very much. Have a great day.